Hello friends, both old and new. I'm John St. Baptiste, and this is Music Makes the People Come Together, where we share amazing and eclectic music with amazing and eclectic people, much like yourselves. This is the long-awaited Season 3 playlist for Game of Thrones. Finally coming out. Sorry it's taken so long. This was a hard one. I'm hoping that the rest of these seasons are a little easier. This one I wanted to get perfectly because for me, it's one of my favorite seasons. And if you don't know what's going on, I am taking each episode and breaking down track per episode, my musical interpretation for it. So we're going to start off with episode 1, which is Valle de Jerez. And I chose I'll Keep Holding On by Simply Red. This is off the album Picture Book. And it describes every single character in this episode. I mean, we have Sam, we have Jon, we have Tyrion with his relationship with his father Tywin, and Tywin with his statement to his son that you are my penance for my sins. We have Davos holding on to his hope that he can bring Stannis to some reality. We have Stannis holding on to what reality he still has of himself. And of course, we have Sansa holding on to her hope that Peter Baelish is actually there to save her. Let's see how that works out. Number 2, the episode is Dark Wings, Dark Words. And I chose The Devil That You Know by Jesus Jones. This is off the album Perverse. And the reason that I chose it is because it makes me think of Sansa's decision that she has to make between the Queen of Thorns, my lady, and Peter Baelish. Because sometimes it's always better to choose the devil that you know rather than the devil that you don't know. I'll let you meditate on that thought for a little while. Third, we have episode 3, The Walk of Punishment, and I chose one of my favorite bands of all time, as you all know if you follow my channel, and that is the Grateful Dead. And this is Ship of Fools. It's off their album From the Mars Hotel, which came out in 1974. Probably, in my eyes, their second best post-Pigpen album. Yeah, one of the two. I mean, if we're talking studio albums, and there's so many great ones out there. Studio or live, the Grateful Dead was amazing, but you gotta have that live experience. But if we're talking studio albums, this is one of my top 2. Uh, Unbelievable stuff. But this was Walk of Punishment, and the reason this song encapsulated for me this episode is because of the entire concept of I've given all this, yet it's going to be taken away, and I know it, and I'm making a foolish decision. And I was at this point at once in my life, and I am no longer at that point. And just please listen to the track, and read the lyrics because they're quite good. Episode 4, Now His Watch Is Over, and I chose "Lose Yourself" by Eminem because this episode, more than anything, I think is about Daenerys. And you all know how little of a Daenerys fan I am, but I like this episode, and I think this track just perfectly matches where she is in her life, and I think it perfectly describes it, and I think it works out quite well. I hope you can see where I'm coming from here. Once again, read the lyrics. Generally, as much of a music person as I am, these playlists that I put together are lyrically based, and A, this is great music. But B, I think the lyrics match Daenerys just about to a T at this point. You know, she's throwing up on her sweater, but you know what? She's gonna go out there on the stage. You know, she might have failed once or twice, but she's gonna do it this time. And she does, which we find out. Oh, spoiler alert. Track 5, Kiss by Fire. I picked Confession by Florida Georgia Line. And it's off their album Anything Goes. And even though it's a bit of a stretch, I think that this perfectly describes where Jamie is during the bathtub scene, the infamous bathtub scene, which is a big moment in his character development, and I think is quite important. Episode 6, The Climb. Well, you knew I had to throw some electronic music in here, because that's what I do. And I picked Amelie's cover of Mika Nashiana and Hyde's track, Confession. Now, this loses a bit of the interpretation going from Japanese to English. But I think it's well done, and honestly, if you think about the kiss on top of the wall, that iconic moment that, you know, kind of gives you the feels, and it just makes a great picture in the first place. What was the kiss of death? Think about it. Let me know what you think. If you have any thoughts about any of these tracks, or this playlist, or this channel in general, please drop them in the comment section down below. Let me know what you're thinking. Episode number 7, we're going to go right on to The Bear and the Maiden Fair. And I picked Lyre by the Rollins Band. This is off the album Wait. And more than anything, it made me think of Ramsay Snow and his psycho-manipulative, used and abused Stockholm Syndrome relationship that he has with Theon Greyjoy, aka Reek. But also, it's the relationship that Jon has to the wildlings. And you think about it, it kind of describes Robb too, because he's a fracking oathbreaker. I mean, he said he'd marry this chick, and he didn't. And Robb kind of reaps what he sows. I'm not saying it's right, but you should have seen it coming, kid. Come on. But yeah, good track, good episode. In fact, one of my favorites. Leading right into that, the different ways that you can ambiguate a word. For episode number 8, Second Sons, I also picked a song called Lyre, except this is by Queen. This is off their first album, self-titled. Came out in 1973, I believe. And it's also called Lyre. And for me, it defines the relationship between Tyrion and Tywin. And the way it would almost be a monologue for me of what Tyrion is saying to Tywin about their relationship. And also, I had to fit some Queen in here because Queen has to go in every season's playlist. That's a rule. It was established last playlist by Zeta Alpha. I threw it out there, and he was the one person who was like, yeah, any Queen is good Queen. Which is very true. Any Queen is good Queen. Keep that in mind. Keep that close in your heart. The worst Queen song is better than 90% of 90 people's other songs. So, keeping that in mind, episode 9, The Reigns of Castamere. Now, this is such an iconic episode, and it is so huge and important to so many people, and I could have gone a lot of ways with this. I honestly, for me, as a book reader, I found Bran's storyline far more interesting, but this is the Red Wedding, and we have to address it, and I just chose to go with it, a nearly instrumental piece. And this is Darkness of Our Bride by Cradle of Filth. It's off of the Principle of Evil Made Flesh. And I believe there is one sentence stated in this song. Besides that, it's entirely instrumental, but it's an awesome instrumental. A lot of instrumentals are pretty awesome. And I hope you feel that that works into the entire concept pretty well. Finally, we're going to end with Misha. And this is the episode where Daenerys Targaryen is raised up as a god. And also where a lot of people worship a lot of different things. Characters worship sex, worship money, worship prestige. And I chose Personal Jesus by Depeche Mode. Because this song is about prostitution, but beyond that, it's about your own personal Jesus. And I do feel that the slaves who are there in this city are just as guilty as anybody else is of anything. But that's just my personal view. If you have any personal views of your own, drop them in the comment section down below. Speaking of which, that's the playlist. I want to know what you think. Drop it in the comment section down below. Speaking of down below, like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. And also, you can find the Season 1 and 2 playlists. So, tell me what you think. Enjoy the music. And please share music with me. I'll share music with you. And keep sharing music with each other. In the meantime, please, PLUR, be excellent to one another. And party on.